Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of The Gavel, featuring attorney Ana Toledo. Ms. Toledo is the senior attorney and general counsel to Targeted Justice. She has a background in constitutional and environmental law and is an experienced litigator, including 2 cases at the U.S. Supreme Court. And here's Ms. Toledo.
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to episode 63 of The Gavel, a podcast dedicated to delivering the latest news and critical updates to the global community of victims of government weaponization, alongside important developments of my mission for freedom here in Washington, D.C. Today is Friday, July 31st, 2026, and this episode constitutes a permanent record of our community's fight to expose and end the illegal, unacknowledged special access program that enjoys a security clearance level 35 named Ultra, that carries out human experimentation and torture in the United States and around the world. Yes, MK Ultra never ended. I'm your host, Ana Toledo, an attorney with over 30 years of experience litigating environmental, civil rights, and First Amendment law. I relocated to Washington, D.C. to expose and combat the government weaponization and lawfare. My goal is to expose the illegal program that has been unleashed against average Americans and civilians around the globe. This exposure, as you know, is an essential step towards setting us all free. Once the program is no longer covered, it can no longer operate. That is the key. If it is not covert, it cannot operate. That is why each and every one of you has to work at exposing it. I fight not only for an end of torture, but also for full accountability of the government criminals that are responsible for your plight and those of so many around the world. We will have justice. We will have freedom. This week, the exposure has been so amazing and at unprecedented levels. And even things that you don't think have to do with our community have a lot to do with it. And I will guide you through some of it. But this is just a powerful confirmation that your efforts and my efforts here have not been in vain. So buckle up for this week's developments and important announcements that I am leaving for the end of the transmission. But before that, please like, share, and subscribe. We are facing severe censorship, throttling, but even by platforms that purport to be, freedom of speech platforms. No, they are also censoring us because they don't want this exposure to come out. So I'm first going to begin with the invocation of the Holy Spirit in this space. And I brought something special for you, which is, it's from the book of Daniel, chapter 6. And just 2 verses, 22 and 27. My God sent his angel and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me because I was found innocent in his sight. And then the king, after seeing how he had been saved because of his faith, this is Daniel, that was thrown to the lions because he worshiped God. And he said, for he is the living God and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. As you know, Daniel was thrown in a cave with lions because he honored God above the king. It was his unflinching faith in our Lord that protected him from the lions. See, like how the lions are just looking around. Only one is looking at us. This one right here, I don't know if you can see it. He's looking like with his teeth out. And I like this passage because while we have gone through unspeakable pain, horrors, fears, we are still here. We are standing tall against the enemy because the enemy has not been able to take us down. And by enemy, I represent not just the devil, but also his minions that you know where they work and what they do to us. We don't need to give them any time here. So I say it time and again, we are here because of the grace of God, and we have to be so thankful for it. Do not let the criminals convince you otherwise. Just like Daniel prayed, I am invoking to cover this space and to cover you all at home, protecting us from the evildoers that are constantly lurking, trying to prevent you from learning how freedom is inevitable. Now, I want to comment about this image because this is a 1616 painting by Rubens, and it is in the National Galleries of Art here in Washington, D.C. The painting is so huge that the lions are almost life-size. And the painter, the artist, went to the Royal Zoo in Brussels back then to paint the lions. That's why they're so realistic. So it is my hope, as I'm going to save it for the end of the podcast, that if you do come to DC, take a little time to go visit the National Galleries, because it's the one place you should visit. And the best part, it's completely free. It's a great place to nurture your soul. And it's just truly, genuinely amazing. Anyways, so yeah, we are covered with the grace of God here. But before we go any further, please like, share, subscribe. Remember to help me defeat censorship, and write in the comments, freedom is mine, because it's yours, it's coming. So for those of you that did not get to read this week's, let me make sure that the comments, okay, so the criminals are not allowing me to see the comments here. I don't know why, and I want to make sure that you're hearing me okay. So sorry about that, but I can't see them. I can't see your comments. They're always doing something, and I'm sorry about that, but I cannot see your comments in the chat for some reason. It's their little trick, but it's okay, criminals, because you're not going to stop me. You're not going to stop me from doing this. Anyways, I'm going to play, for those of you that missed it, the Targeted Justice newsletter for this week.
Thinking about Bitcoin? Well, just like law enforcement, I guess, we are excited as well because, people may have thought Bitcoin was anonymous, but I'd say it's pseudonymous, right? It's not truly anonymous. And there's a lot of work that we do with law enforcement, obviously, to try to track, illicit crypto payments by bad actors. I mean, look, bad actors, whether they're drug cartels or terrorist groups or outlaw regimes, use cryptocurrency, but they use other tools as well, right?
You don't want to miss this incredible video where a CIA general openly admits to using Bitcoin as their surveillance tool.
From the silent night to the zapper, Target Source LLC has several devices to help shield you from DDoS attacks and even lower your gang stalking.
Hi, I'm Richard Lighthouse again with Targeted Justice. Short tip for today for raising awareness. This is one of the ways that we fight back. We have found that there's a large segment of the homeless population that suffers from V2K, and they literally do not know what's going on. So we've prepared a flyer. It's at targetedjustice.com under the Flyers tab that will help you share this with homeless people and with other folks that you know. Here's the flyer we've got on our website. By raising awareness, we're helping to expose and shut down the program. And one of the best ways is that we find there's a lot of folks that are targeted individuals that are homeless that don't know about the program. Help them out. It's very inexpensive. Keep these flyers in a folder in your car, and you can help raise awareness. Thanks very much.
Spread awareness by getting a cool magnet, like this one, for your car or truck from bestofsigns.com.
Did you know that you can reduce your V2K by simply wearing headphones? You can by using this particular model, Sony's WH-1000 XM6 wireless noise-canceling headphones. This was reported from a credible TI that this model can greatly reduce your V2K to the point where it is easy to ignore it. We recommend that you head on down to your local Best Buy and experiment with different noise-canceling headphones.
It's a lawsuit against the Centers for Disease Control and the National Institute of Health. Dr. Len Baer, our expert star. Dr. Len Baer has worked on this for years. Targeted Justice and 6 other plaintiffs have filed an unprecedented lawsuit. I want to explain this to you in very good terms that you can understand.
Calling all digital warriors. Repost, like, and share this video on all social media. Targeted Justice's attorney and advisory board member Ana Toledo has moved from the comfort of Texas to the cold streets of Washington, D.C. to act as the representative for all victims of government weaponization and to raise awareness to Congress about the targeting program. However, she needs your help. While living in D.C., she needs financial assistance and income. Please consider donating to the following link and show your support. We're on the lookout for volunteers. You can let us know what your skills are by emailing us at tjustice2@proton.me. Put volunteer in the subject line. We have over 500 videos on our Rumble channel. It's full of interviews, tips, news, and more, all for free. Check it out now. We have our own branded shirts, cups, and other merchandise at our online store. Buy something for yourself or get a gift. We're always accepting donations. You can do so by going to the following link or sending us a check. The donations are tax deductible, and we're a non-profit organization. Thank you so much for watching this video. God bless. God bless. God bless.
God bless, and God bless Sean. That is such an amazing creator, and I do not get tired of saying how he has used this opportunity to, as a volunteer for Targeted Justice, to become so excellent. I want to say 2 things. Number 1, we are now incorporating short videos to our YouTube channel and our Rumble channel, and this is a great opportunity for you to be a digital warrior of your own. Remember, exposure is what's going to shut down this program, and also the grace of God. So both exposure and prayer are very much welcome. But for those of you that are in TikTok, for example, where criminals had them kick Targeted Justice out, well, out of all those interviews we have there have amazing content. You can make short videos and put them in TikTok. And that is how you are going to wake up every morning and say, I'm going to do at least one thing, and one thing to shut down these criminals. We are an army of warriors. You can take half hour to look for the interview, get the clip, and upload it, and then share it everywhere. So think about it. Every morning, wake up and say, how am I going to fight the criminals today? Because they are torturing you all day long. You can take a little time to torture them back. Do it. It's very rewarding. Believe me, that's what I do every day, and I love it. Anyways, big news this week. Finally, Cara Castronova and Lindell TV aired a more than 10-minute interview of Analog Ana. I'm not going to play the entire interview because the entire show would be dedicated to it. No, not to, because too long. But for those of you that have not seen it,
Kara
see here.
Castronova with Lindell TV here with Ana Toledo. She is a subject matter expert on MK Ultra, and we're here at the Feds for Freedom event in Washington D.C. talking about MK Ultra, which is sort of the talk of the town now. That yesterday there was that hearing at Congress with Anna Paulina Luna really exposing MK Ultra, how it's been used through the years against the people, and now maybe even in the modern day. How is MK Ultra being used now against the people?
Well, yes, MK Ultra never ended. It only morphed into a quite like the same covert program, but now instead of what I like to say is instead of LSD and the sleep deprivation and all those tactics, they use directed energy weapons, remote technology, energy technology. Basically, they use cell towers, they use satellites.
So I'm not going to continue, but for those of you that didn't see it, you can watch it in the Targeted Justice newsletter, Lindell TV, Facebook. It's all over the place. I would love it if you could make shorts of it and place them everywhere. Remember, this is a joint effort to expose these criminals. And I want to talk a little bit about that interview, because many of you don't know that I work every day. And the fact that I was able, that Kara interviewed me, is the product of months of work. I had seen her. I had seen her in the halls of Congress. I remember I saw her the day that my little dog died in Puerto Rico, and I was sitting in a chair, and she came over and she said, and I said, my dog just died, and she said, I'm so sorry. She's the sweetest person. And but since I carry with me all the time Project Freedom, which is in the Targeted Justice website, well, I took the opportunity and I gave her the flyers and I gave her Project Freedom. And even though she didn't interview me at that time, she get to meet me, and she get to meet a soft side of me, right? Because I was that day I was very, very sad. My little dog Pelusa died. Anyway, so last month, this interview was really filmed a month ago. I was with Dominic Halpin at the event Feds for Freedom, where I personally met Mr. Erdman, that I'm going to do some of the videos, and he sat down at the table with us and talked to us for a while. I met Mike Benz. I met Joe Kent. I'm meeting people and other movers and shakers that I'm not going to mention here. And the point is to do away with the slander, because just like I was slandered among our peers in order to be isolated from them, here in the swamp, there is a cadre of people that are slandering me and preventing me from penetrating the media. Why? Because they protect the program. So, you know, this, I did not tell, only one person knew, aside from Dominic, that that she had done this interview. And of course I didn't talk about it. I didn't talk about it here. Why? Because then the criminals would have prevented it. And there are many other things happening in the background that I do not tell you, because I don't want the criminals, the boots on the ground, to interfere with them. So I hope you understand that I'm working 7 days a week to shut these criminals down, and it's going to happen. It happened in the time of God. I think this was absolute perfect timing, and I am counting on each and every one of you to share it with everyone, because the truth avalanche, it's unstoppable. The dam has cracked. The water is flooding everywhere. The truth is flooding everything. There's no containing it. Okay. So most importantly, I want to thank those of you that have made it possible for me to be here, because without your support, none of this. And I am certain not even the MK Ultra hearings would be happening. So to each and every one of you that has supported me in any way, I thank you. We will be free. Write it in the comments just to share it everywhere. Anyways, a whistleblower, James Erdman, who is one of the people, he is one of the people in Feds for Freedom. He is dropping truth bombs left and right. And Dr. Len Bear reported on a hugely hugely important one. In his interview with Catherine Hedrich, she asked something that cuts through years of careful reporting of Havana syndrome. Listen to what he said to Catherine Hedrich.
Did your investigation uncover credible evidence that records about directed energy attacks were destroyed at the CIA?
Yes. And the individual respond, and I can't go into too much detail other than to say that information was given to the CIA to take action. It was passed from the principal deputy director's office over to the deputy director's office, as I understand it, and nothing has happened. The individual responsible for destroying those records still works at the Counterintelligence Mission Center.
There you have it. It is a crime to destroy federal records. However, the criminal that destroyed those records still works at the CIA clown show. How's that? We are so grateful to this man. He is just spreading the word. Now, one of the things that was very telling is that Dr. Bear wrote an article on X, and it was taken down. It was censored. He had to repost it and tell everybody, look at these people. They took it down, and then he posted it also on Substack. So thanks to Dr. Bear, I am going to report some of the information that he wrote, which is so meticulously written. Dr. Bear wrote in his article Catherine Hedrich was asking straightforward questions and beyond the already reported cover-up. And she was asking if the U.S. government or intelligence community was involved in facilitating or enabling the attacks, directing or coordinating them, providing targeting information, protecting those responsible. Back in December 2024, she noted that some affected officers privately questioned if there might be an insider threat. This is the key word that triggered pulling down the article. They didn't pull down Catherine Hedrich's interview, but they pulled down Dr. Len Bear's article. Why? Because it touched a nerve. Insider threat responsible for Havana syndrome. She said she was going to look into it. But these, I'm going to read you some of the quotes by Mr. Erdman that are just totally priceless. There are real people who have been harmed from Department of War, from the intelligence community, from the Department of State civilians. It doesn't get more explicit than that. He also said directed energy weapons, regarding redirected energy weapons, real people have been harmed. What is real people? You and me. It's real people. And he also says Havana syndrome cover-up is worse than COVID-19. And for those of you that have been seeing the circus going on this week with Fauci, which I'm going to talk about a little later, he said, this problem was actually worse when it comes to a cover-up. We know why. And then he also said, I do know that those records were being destroyed, which is what I just played, and the individual still works there. Now, Mr. Erdman was in Tulsi's ODNI Directors Initiative Group, or DIG. He is the one, as you might remember, that declared in front of Congress that 40 boxes about MK Ultra had been taken away from ODNI by the CIA criminals. Well, he didn't say criminals, but he just said by the CIA guys. In fact, I told him when I met him, I said, you are perhaps the only CIA person I think it's a nice guy, because to me, they're all criminals. I just told him like that. Anyway, so he was in that group and he was trying to uncover what Tulsi was had the responsibility of doing, which are the abuses by the intelligence community. So he is a very credible witness, and he is being a patriot. Other of his statements are records about suspected directed energy weapons should be declassified. And he also said it's very important that the government declassify all information related to that acquisition. Finally, he said completed reports can be released, the ones on COVID-19, because this week on the Fauci hearings, some of the questions that were asked were about, but some of the information that came out from his diary is that the CIA was involved in the entire psyops behind the COVID-19. And he said completed reports about directed energy weapons attacks can be released. As Dr. Baer stated in his article, from this point on, Havana syndrome and insider threat are intrinsically linked. The news we have seen this week all point to one tendency, and it is that everyone wants to expose the criminality at the CIA. When you carefully listen to and watch the news, what they boil down to is the muck that sits at the CIA. Now, other very good news coming here. Senate Select Intelligence Committee is part of the CIA clown show, and Tucker Carlson exposed the farce that is the Senate Select Intelligence Committee. Let me put it in context. This is the committee that was created, that is the sequel to the Church Committee that in 1970-75 supposedly exposed MK Ultra. Well, then they created in the Senate a Senate Select Intelligence Committee to supposedly supervise the intelligence community and make sure that MK Ultra never happened again. But we know it never ended. So Tucker has been making an effort, and as Rand Paul, he says, it's the one federal agency no one has ever tried to reform, is also the most powerful, the CIA. Jim Erdman just resigned after a long career as an operations officer. He says the agency is completely out of control and dangerous. He is sounding the alarm. This is the committee that is in charge of supervising them. So let me just play for you just a little clip of what Mr. Erdman told Tucker.
Who is the senator who chairs? Where does Tom Cotton, who is the senator who chairs the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, where does he fit into all this?
Well, I think he's a cheerleader for everything we do. He has no role in oversight. I think he's a complete cheerleader. And I'll give you a very good example. I provide you a couple documents here. After my hearing, Senator Rand Paul sent another subpoena over to the ODNI saying we need all of this information. I'll leave it with you. We want it. Well, Director Gabbard leaves. Pulte takes over. And Pulte gets a letter from Senator Tom Cotton's team saying, hey, listen, here's what you need to understand. Sissy maintains oversight responsibility.
Sissy's the Senate Intelligence
Senate
Committee.
Select Committee on Intelligence. Yeah. We maintain primacy on oversight for these sort of matters. And so, hey, Pulte, make sure that you consult us before you decide to give anything over to them. Okay, and not only that, I said that I had done a 6-hour and 40-minute transcribed interview in a skiff in March of this year for his GAC. Republicans and Democrats were both there. Well, let me clarify that. The Democrat tried to leave, but I insisted that he stay. Now, I finished that transcribed interview. They won't give it back. They won't give it back to his GAC. Sissy will not give
his GAC is the
Homeland Security Government Affairs Committee, the one that Rand Paul's on and Ron Johnson's on. I think some of the Democrats are on there, Fetterman, a few others. Wouldn't know. They didn't show up to the hearing.
It's very telling and this is not political thing here, but it's very telling. Look how he says, I had to tell them, the Democrats, not to leave. You might remember that in the June 20th hearing, MK Ultra hearing, there was not a single Democrat there. They do not care about the fact that MK Ultra never ended. They do not care about the criminality going on at the CIA. So if that's one of your senators that I'm going to show them to you in a little while, guess what? You have a duty to write to them and tell them, how come you're not doing your job? Okay. Let me show you what Rand Paul says, and then I'm going to show you the committee. Here it is.
You don't get on the Intel Committee, for the most part, unless you're an apologist for the Intel community and you're unconcerned with Americans' privacy and unconcerned with abuses of power. So this is perpetuated generation after generation. There's only 8 people in Congress who have any idea what the CIA is doing or the FBI. Everyone else is kept in the dark. So when you talk about a deep state, there's a deep state within the deep state. 8 people in Congress, they're the elite 8. They're the chairman and ranking member of the Intel committees in the House and Senate, and the leader, the speaker and the leader on both sides. Those are the people that get informed and get real briefings. I've never been to a classified briefing where they really gave any classified material. Most of them are window service, and they're sort of dog and pony shows to promote one aspect of an idea, but they're not very revealing as to truly what our agencies are doing.
There you have it. Dog and pony show. So this is, let me show you the committee. The Senate. Oh, wait, is that it? No, that's not it. Hold on. Sorry about that. Here's the committee. And so you recognize there, if any of those is your senator. I can tell you, first of all, the chair, Tom Cotton from Arkansas. From those of you, Ken Stroud, all of you from Arkansas, you need to knock on his door. He's the chair. I have tried to meet with his staffers, and not even the lowliest of staffers will meet with me. In fact, his receptionist is so rude to me. She almost like kicks me out of that office every time. She has no manners. And I have tried, and he could not be less interested because he's covering up for the CIA criminals. And thank God John Cronin got primaried, and he got kicked out. He's not going to be there. But I can tell you that when Dr. Sally Priester and myself tried to go to his office and speak to one of his staffers, they literally kicked us out of his office. They escorted us out because we weren't doing anything. They just didn't want to hear anything because Cronin is another one that protects the CIA criminals. Chris and Sterling, you have another assignment. Jerry Moran is there. It's time to pay him another visit, this time demanding the initiation of a real investigation. But first, the Senate has to remove those people that are there that are not doing their job. If you don't do your job, you're supposed to be fired, right? Well, that's what the Senate has to do. So even if your senator is not in there, you can write to your senator and say, why don't you do something to get rid of the senators there that are not doing what they're supposed to do? Because MK Ultra never ended. So we're going to talk more about that. This week, we had the Fauci hearings, and even though they appear to, it appears to be about COVID and not about our plight, right? It does have to do. Senator Rand Paul made public Dr. Fauci's diaries that revealed, aside from revealing his obsession with being the most famous person and important and having, making 12 appearances in a single day in different TV shows. Poor little man. He is now the butt of all jokes. And they are making really nice memes about him. So much anticipated by everyone. The Fauci hearing happened on July 29th. I was there real early because it started at 8:30. I was there at 7:20. hoping to get a glance of the little leprechaun that destroyed so many lives and so many businesses. And I wanted to holler at him if he was in on the injecting of nanotechnology to unsuspecting victims contained in the COVID jabs, as our dear and brilliant Dr. Mihalcha and Dr. Nixon have exposed. Turns out that they did not allow a single person from the general public. Only the press, only the staffers, and VIP ticket holders. There was a woman there that drove all the way from New York and was there at 3 a.m. She was the first one to get in when the doors opened, and they did not let her in. And the reason she did that is because her children and her life was so devastated by the COVID jab. There was another man that traveled from Alabama. He was a podcaster. They did not let him in. So I went to the overflow room. And as soon as I started hearing Fauci speak, I knew it would be a spectacle without any meaningful results. But what does matter to our community is the following. Congress will get to the bottom of not just the self-assembling nanotechnology, but also the role of the CIA in the entire pandemic psyops, because there are a lot of entries in his diary that make reference to the CIA participation. This really boggles my mind, because it's like, when you're a criminal, are you so tone deaf as to not realize you're a criminal and write it all down? Like, criminals are not supposed to write a diary. I just don't get it. But so he refused to answer everything. And now Congress may place him in prison for contempt, as they did to Steve Bannon, who didn't show up for a congressional. This one showed up but refused to answer. Is the same thing. They are working on contempt for him, contempt charges. But what may be interesting is that the pardon, since his pardon, he had an obligation to answer questions, because the presidential pardon, prevented him from invoking the Fifth Amendment, because he cannot be prosecuted for any crimes from 2014 to 2020. However, if they were going to ask him about his role in experimenting with children in New York, or experimenting or killing people, AIDS patients with ACT, well, that might have been outside of the 2014 date. However, as an attorney, I think that people that lost their businesses because of the lockdown should file a massive class action lawsuit against him, because it's all about math. And that's one of the things that probably could hurt him more than sending him to prison, to a country club. Anyway, so the flop post of the day, I'm not, there are so many flop posts and illegal, surveillance posts that every time you see one, you should repost it and be delighted at the fact that normies are becoming aware of their rights under the Fourth Amendment. And I cannot cover here all the posts, but I wanted to show you this one, which is really funny, because some people, what they're doing is that they're blocking the camera. This one is a cannabis dispensary that put up the sign in front of the camera, blocking it from anyone, not grabbing anyone. It says it's a non-flux zone. So I think people are getting really creative, but what matters to us is the awareness that the illegal surveillance that has been done to us, it's being deployed to the entire nation. And that's why I say you should join all your city groups protesting, Flock, Axon, Motorola, all these cameras. You should join those groups and make them aware of what comes next. Now, the criminals are, with the Privacy Act request, they are so nervous that now they are daring to ask for information. You know how you have to say, well, I suggest you put your name, the last 4 digits of your social security number, your address, because you don't want them to say and your ID, because you don't want them to say, which they have been saying to a lot of people, even to me. I sent my ID. I sent an attestation statement, and then they gaslit me, saying, you didn't send us enough information. We cannot locate any information. So we know that's gaslighting. But now they're so nervous that they are asking people to send in their fingerprints, which is completely illegal. It's not in the Privacy Act. And it just tells you how unhinged and desperate they are, because we're coming for them. So now we have a great and special announcement, which is we have scheduled targeted action. And the reason why you need to be here is because we need to once and for all let these people in Congress know that MKUltra never ended and that it has to be shut down. Not like in 1975 where they did that show and nothing shut down. And we need you. We need you to come see your representative and your 2 senators. And you need to be a honey badger, just like I am. You need to insist and get the meetings. So in this webpage, which I'm going to show you, I already made, it's going to be from Monday the 14th through the 17th. If you want to stay a little longer to go to the museum or to continue helping us with the banners, you're more than welcome. We're going to hold our annual, and I dare say, most important, and let's hope, final targeted action 2026. Yeah, because I said that this year was my last birthday as a victim of government weaponization, and I just hope it's everybody's last birthday as well. So we're setting up the schedule, but let me share with you the webpage in that I created, and it's completely preliminary, okay? Completely preliminary. I just want you to see here, be a part of history. Here you can do the register. It has a registration form right here, okay? And then it has also a preliminary schedule, which is very, very rudimentary. We have not worked on it yet because I have to, research the places we're going to meet, etc. Then it has a registration fee here link. We're going to have banners. This is one of the banners that we're going to have. And we're going to need shifts to hold these banners in specific locations in front of Congress and in different locations that we're going to tell you when you come here. Okay? This is your opportunity to be part of history. This is your opportunity to show them what you're made of, that you're still standing after so many years of torture and suffering. You come with your head held up high, and you come to demand freedom from torture. And this year, we really need it to be the largest event. Please, if you sign up, don't sign up just for signing up and not coming. I urge you that only people that are willing to come and make the effort to come sign up, because then we don't know how many people we're going to, for the venues and for the planning. It's going to be fantastic. We are going to try to coordinate shares from those coming from afar. I am counting on my Colorado peeps, Lynette and Dawn and her team that made it to the MKUltra hearings. I want you here again. And people from everywhere, you need to make it here this year. This is the most important year that you need to make it. So, and finally, I want to share with you we're continuing to do, let me stop sharing this one. Hold on a second. We're continuing to do the intention. Please follow Jim on X or turn on your alarm. We are doing at 12 noon Eastern time. The targeting program is over, the prayer, the meditation, the intention. I am free now, or whatever feels good for you. Please follow him because he is so kind as to send a reminder, and you have to check, please, to get his notifications. I also want to thank Sean and Ortain that are working so hard to put content in YouTube and in our social media. It is so important that you share it, because not only do they work real hard, but remember, it's just that one clip, that one video that will make it in front of that person that needs to see it. And you might be that person that did it. Just like, let me tell you the story. It was our dear Chris who, when the criminals were not watching, he sent to the Gateway Pundit the letter that I sent to Christine Owen. And it was thanks to him that it got published in the Gateway Pundit, because the criminals weren't watching it. And so the same can happen with you. Since they cannot be, they're always monitoring and trying to control what I send out. That's why I have to be analog Ana and showing up in person, because they cannot stop that. But those of you out there can send Gateway Pundit to Lang Lindell, to all these other outlets that are legit, and maybe it does get published. It's about tenacity. It's about perseverance. It's about knowing that they are already chopped liver. They're done. Anyways, so as you know, I have decided to stay in DC indefinitely. Thanks to you, I am able to be here speaking on your behalf, exposing this criminal program. So thanks to everybody that has helped and supported my work here. And I hope you continue doing it, because I can only be here with your support. Targeted justice is not like ACLU that has literally millions, almost $1 billion in grants and endowments only to be controlled opposition. No, we don't have that. We depend on this community that many of them have been severely obliterated by these criminals, financially, emotionally, physically, and in many other ways. But the important thing is that we're still standing and that you're still watching. Anyway, my deepest gratitude to all of you. And I hope you have a great night, and a great and a blessed night. Blessings to all. Thank you.